You were never meant to stay the same. Inside of you, there is a sacred code, a divine blueprint that's been patiently waiting for your permission to awaken. You weren't born for mediocrity. You weren't designed to live beneath your potential. You were created to rise, to evolve, to upgrade. Not just in your finances, not just in your relationships, but in your very being. This is your divine upgrade moment. This is your activation season. Everything you've walked through, every heartbreak, every closed door, every silent night of questioning, it was all preparation. You are being positioned for something greater. You are not broken, you are breaking open. The divine upgrade is not about having more, it's about becoming more. It's not just about changing your life, but about allowing your life to reflect the truth of who you already are. And the truth is, you are powerful, you are chosen. You are an unstoppable force of light, divinely assigned to make an impact in a world that desperately needs the vibration you carry. You're not chasing validation anymore. You're claiming your vibration. You're not begging for doors to open. You're becoming the key. You're not just waiting for your breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. And the more you realize that, the faster your reality begins to shift. You were created to evolve, not to stay the same. The divine upgrade is about becoming more, not just having more. This truth unlocks the first and most vital shift in the journey toward a higher life. Too often we chase external changes thinking they'll bring internal peace. We think if we could just get the job, the car, the house, the relationship, then we'd feel whole. But a divine upgrade isn't about stacking achievements, it's about shedding limitations. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that's not just more successful, but more aligned, more conscious, more connected to truth. The upgrade isn't about what you can gain, it's about who you're becoming in the process. Your soul didn't come here to repeat patterns or stay stuck in survival mode. It came to transform, to transcend, to evolve into its fullest frequency. At your core, you are not meant to be stagnant. Every cell in your body, every beat of your heart, every breath you take is a living testimony to motion, to growth, to change. Nature itself models this. Trees don't stay small forever, they stretch. Rivers don't sit still, they flow. Stars don't dim, they explode into galaxies. You are no different. You are a part of the divine rhythm of life, and that rhythm is always moving forward. But to move forward, you must be willing to let go of the idea that staying the same is safer. Comfort zones were never meant to be permanent homes. They're starting places, not staying places. The divine upgrade asks something sacred of you. It asks you to stop idolizing the image of more and to start becoming the embodiment of more. It's not just about learning new things, it's about unlearning what no longer fits. It's about releasing the identities, beliefs, and behaviors that were built around fear, survival, or someone else's opinion of your worth. You may have been taught to play small, to blend in, to avoid standing out, but that's not why you're here. Your spirit came to stand tall, to own its light, to lead others by example, not through perfection, but through authenticity and courage. Becoming more means holding yourself accountable for your energy, your intentions, your growth. It's understanding that nothing outside of you can fill what's missing within. The divine upgrade isn't just a change of scenery, it's a change of identity. It's becoming the person who no longer waits to be chosen, who no longer seeks approval, who no longer lives based on old pain. It's becoming the person who decides, I am enough as I am, and I'm expanding into even more of that truth every day. That shift alone starts aligning you with different opportunities, different people, and different levels of grace. So many people live their whole lives chasing things without ever becoming the person who can sustain them. They get the relationship, but not the self-worth to keep it healthy. They get the business, but not the mindset to grow it with integrity. They get the attention, but not the internal foundation to remain grounded in it. That's why the divine upgrade is not surface level. It goes deep. It transforms you from the inside out. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's unfamiliar. But that discomfort is evidence of expansion. Growth doesn't feel safe because you're stepping into territory your old self has never been to. You weren't born to repeat the same patterns. You were born to rewrite the narrative. You were born to ascend. Every challenge is an invitation. Every moment of tension is a portal. Every disruption is a divine nudge saying, there is more for you. You are more than this. The upgrade is already coded inside of you. Your only job is to activate it, and activation comes through choice, through awareness, through the willingness to evolve without apology. So stop chasing the illusion of more. Start becoming it. Let your transformation be the testimony. Let your life be the proof. True transformation requires surrender, not struggle. Alignment, not hustle, unlocks divine breakthroughs. This principle changes everything when you finally allow it to sink in. We live in a world that glorifies the grind, that worships constant motion, that equates exhaustion with excellence. You're taught that if you're not chasing, you're not progressing. If you're not pushing, you're falling behind. But that mindset keeps people locked in cycles of burnout, confusion, and frustration. The divine upgrade doesn't respond to force, it responds to flow. It isn't access through control, it's access through alignment. When you align with who you really are, with the truth of your purpose, your energy starts working for you rather than against you. That's when things begin to open, not because you forced them, but because you finally stopped resisting the path that was meant for you all along. Struggle is not your identity. Suffering is not your destiny. Yes, effort is required, but divine transformation doesn't demand you to drain yourself. It calls you to align your heart, your thoughts, your actions with your higher self. It requires you to release what doesn't resonate, even if you've carried it for years. Surrender isn't about giving up, it's about giving in to a greater intelligence. It's about trusting that you don't have to figure out every detail, you just have to be in position, and being in position means knowing when to let go. Let go of timelines. Let go of the pressure to prove. Let go of thinking you have to earn your worth. You don't, you were born worthy. The divine upgrade is your inheritance, not your reward. Alignment is where the real power lives. When you're aligned, you stop chasing people and start attracting your tribe. You stop begging for opportunities and start becoming the type of person that opportunities are drawn to. You stop micromanaging life and start co-creating with it. You stop rushing and start trusting divine timing. This doesn't mean you stop taking action. It means your actions are led by intention, not desperation. You move with clarity, not chaos. You make decisions from peace, not panic. That's what makes you magnetic. That's what makes you unstoppable, not how fast you run, but how aligned you are with the truth that your path was already blessed before you took your first step. Struggle creates noise, alignment creates results, hustle burns you out, flow fills you up. So the question becomes, what are you forcing that you should be releasing? What are you chasing that you should be aligning with? There's nothing wrong with working hard, but there is something deeply draining about working out of fear, out of lack, out of pressure. You can grind for years and still feel empty if you're not aligned. You can check off every goal and still feel unfulfilled if it's not rooted in your soul's truth. Divine transformation doesn't come when you're busy doing more, it comes when you're brave enough to do what matters most. The universe responds to clarity. When you align with your values, your purpose, your authenticity, the energy around you starts rearranging. People shift, situations shift, doors open, paths clear. Not because you're striving, but because you're finally in sync with your divine design. And when you're in sync, everything accelerates. Miracles feel natural. Progress becomes effortless. You don't have to force things to happen. They unfold because you've aligned your being with their arrival. Surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the moment you stop swimming upstream and start flowing with the current of your destiny. It's the day you realize your worth isn't in how much you produce, but in how deeply you live in truth. The divine upgrade will never be accessed by struggle alone. It will only be unlocked through alignment. So trust the timing. Trust your intuition. Trust that when you surrender the need to control every outcome, you make space for the divine to do what only the divine can do. That's not giving up. That's leveling up. Letting go of the past and outdated identities is essential to step into your elevated, healed, and whole self. You cannot carry who you used to be into the future you were created to live. The old version of you was necessary for survival, for learning, for navigating the experiences that shaped your strength, but that version was never meant to lead your destiny. Too often we cling to identities that no longer reflect who we are becoming. We hold on to pain because it feels familiar. We wear labels that others gave us out of habit, not truth. We shrink ourselves to fit into old environments because we fear what it means to be fully seen in our new power. But your divine upgrade will not be accessed by the version of you that's still apologizing for existing. It will only be unlocked by the version of you that's ready to rise. Every time you level up, you are asked to release. Release the patterns. Release the personas. Release the self-doubt, the guilt, the shame, and the roles you've outgrown. You are not obligated to remain who you were when you were hurt. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by who you choose to become, despite it. The wounds you carry are not your identity. They are part of your history, not your future. Healing means no longer being loyal to your pain. It means choosing to see yourself through the lens of possibility rather than the lens of your past. There's a reason the same cycles keep repeating when you don't release what no longer fits. You cannot step into new rooms with old energy. You cannot form new relationships while clinging to old heartbreak. You cannot create a new story while rereading the old chapters over and over in your mind. The divine upgrade asks for honesty. It asks you to look at your life and admit what's no longer working, what no longer aligns, what no longer feels like truth. And then it asks you to do the brave thing, let it go. Letting go is a spiritual act. It's a declaration that you trust what's coming more than you fear what's leaving. It's a statement that you know who you are becoming is more important than who you've been pretending to be. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy of the upgrade. You just have to be willing to release anything that keeps you from living as your whole, healed, empowered self. That means letting go of the fear that says you're not enough. Letting go of the voice that tells you to play small. Letting go of the people who only support the lesser version of you, not the one who's rising. It's not easy. The familiar can be seductive. Even pain becomes a comfort zone if you sit in it long enough. But if you want the upgrade, you must be willing to grieve the old you. Mourn the parts you've outgrown, honor them, thank them, and release them. Because what's ahead of you requires lightness, it requires clarity, it requires space for miracles to land. And miracles don't land where there's clutter, they land where there's alignment. You are not your mistakes. You are not your trauma. You are not the version of you who didn't know better. You are the version who is healing, rising, evolving. The divine upgrade is not just waiting on divine timing. It's waiting on your agreement. Your agreement to let go. Your agreement to stop rehearsing your limitations. Your agreement to finally release what you've outgrown. This is how you step into your next level. Not by adding more, but by releasing what no longer belongs. Your power lives in your ability to release with grace. The more you let go, the more space you create for the elevated, whole, and unstoppable version of you to emerge. And once that version steps forward, there's no going back, only forward into the life you were always meant to live. You attract your next level by embodying it. Energy, mindset, and belief must match your vision. Nothing outside of you can upgrade if what's inside of you is still operating from old programming. You don't get to wait until the opportunity comes to feel confident. You don't get to wait until you're seen to believe in your value. You don't wait for the new chapter to act like the main character. You must begin showing up now as if it's already yours. That's how the divine upgrade is activated. It begins in your frequency, not your circumstances. It begins in the quiet decision to think differently, walk differently, speak differently, and believe differently, even if nothing around you has changed yet. Your future is not some distant dream. It's a present energy. Every thought you think, every emotion you dwell in, every word you speak, it's either moving you closer to or further from your next level. Embodying the next version of you doesn't mean pretending. It means aligning. It means asking yourself, how would the highest version of me respond to this situation? How would they dress? How would they carry themselves? How would they speak to others? How would they speak to themselves? And then living from that place. The more consistently you embody that frequency, the more your reality reshapes to meet it. Energy is everything. You cannot ask for abundance while vibrating lack. You cannot ask for love while vibrating fear. You cannot ask for purpose while vibrating confusion. The divine upgrade responds to clarity and embodiment. You have to become a match for what you desire. That means breaking the habit of waiting for permission to live like the person you envision. It's no one else's job to make you believe in your power. That's yours. Embodiment is the key to unlocking the rooms you want to enter. It shifts you from hoping into knowing. It shifts you from wondering into certainty. You stop second-guessing and start moving with intention. You stop explaining yourself and start expanding unapologetically. That's what makes the shift tangible. That's what accelerates the transformation. The inner change always precedes the outer change. If you want to experience elevation, your choices must reflect elevation. That means protecting your energy, setting boundaries, speaking affirmations, investing in your growth, and letting go of anything that doesn't align with the future you're stepping into. If it doesn't match your next level, it doesn't get access to your presence. That includes habits, thoughts, environments, and even people. This isn't about being harsh. It's about being honest. The version of you that receives the upgrade doesn't operate the same way as the version that settled for survival. They don't think the same. They don't carry the same doubts. They don't entertain distractions. They don't dim their light to fit in. They know who they are. And because of that, the universe reflects that, knowing back to them in the form of opportunities, breakthroughs, and divine alignment. The process of embodying your next level requires consistency. It's not just a moment of confidence, it's a lifestyle of conviction. It's waking up daily and choosing to act in alignment with your highest identity, no matter how your emotions or circumstances try to pull you back. Your upgrade is not a destination you reach, it's a version of you that you become, and that version lives in you now, not tomorrow, not when life is easier. Now it's already coded into your spirit. Your job is to unlock it by living from it. The power of the divine upgrade is not in waiting for life to change, it's in becoming the person who causes life to change. That's the difference between those who watch miracles happen and those who walk in them. You don't just wish for your next level, you embody it until it has no choice but to manifest. And when it does, it will feel like alignment, not surprise. Because deep down, you knew. You became it long before you saw it. Not everyone is meant to walk with the upgraded version of you. Divine upgrades come with divine disconnections. As you evolve, the circle around you begins to shift. And that's not something to fear, it's something to honor. Growth requires space, and sometimes the people who once walked beside you can no longer match the vibration you are stepping into. It doesn't mean they are bad, and it doesn't mean you're better. It simply means you're different now. Your energy is shifting, your awareness is expanding. You're no longer operating from the same frequency, and what no longer aligns must fall away to make room for what does. That is the divine disconnection. It's not rejection, it's redirection. There comes a point in your journey where keeping certain connections alive costs you more than letting them go. You start to notice that some people only feel comfortable around the unhealed version of you. They liked you when you were shrinking. They understood you when you doubted yourself. They supported you when you stayed small because it made them feel bigger. But now, as you rise, as you choose yourself, as you embody your power, they feel triggered, confused, or distant. They may even criticize or withdraw. That's when you realize not everyone is meant to witness your transformation. Not everyone will understand your calling. Not everyone has the capacity to walk where you're going. And that's okay. It's not your job to convince anyone of your growth. It's not your job to drag people along who aren't willing to grow themselves. You don't owe explanations for your healing. You don't owe apologies for your boundaries. You are not obligated to stay in relationships that keep you bound to an old identity. The divine upgrade calls for emotional clarity. It demands that you know the difference between loyalty and limitation. Being loyal to people who consistently limit your energy, your vision, or your evolution is self-sabotage disguised as love. The most powerful thing you can do is bless people and release them when their season in your life has ended. As painful as it may be, divine disconnections are often protection. They create space for new connections that are aligned with your elevated state. When you let go of what drains you, you make room for what fuels you. When you release what no longer fits, you welcome what was always meant for you. The people who are aligned with your upgrade will not resist your light. They will rise with it. They won't compete with your growth. They'll celebrate it. They won't guilt you for evolving. They'll encourage you to keep going. These are your soul-aligned connections, and they cannot find you while you're holding on to what's expired. There will be moments when you feel lonely on this path, when you question if letting go was the right choice. But in those moments, trust that you're never truly alone. You're in a divine transition. You're shedding old skins, outdated identities, and relationships that cannot sustain the frequency of your future. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Growth costs comfort. Evolution costs attachment. And the upgrade costs connection to the version of you that was never meant to last. Letting go is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of faith. Faith that what's meant for you will always find you. Faith that the universe honors courage. Faith that your tribe, your people, your community will be drawn to your authentic light, not your survival mask. Trust that the right people are on their way. People who see your heart, who speak your language, who match your energy, who value your presence, who challenge you to rise, not settle. The divine upgrade is not just about who you're becoming, it's also about who you're walking with. And when you allow divine disconnections to take place, you open the door to divine connections that take you further, higher and deeper into the life you were born to lead. The power of the upgrade lies in a decision. The moment you say yes to your calling, you activate your elevation. Everything changes the moment you decide, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready, not when you have all the answers. It begins with a choice, a deep, undeniable yes to your next level. That one decision has the power to break years of stagnation, to shift lifetimes of patterns, to rewrite everything you thought was possible for you. Your entire reality bends to the energy of your decision. When you say yes truly and completely, you signal to life that you are available for more, that you're ready to rise, that you're done waiting and finally walking. That one yes is the key that unlocks the divine upgrade. So many people wait. They wait for the right moment. They wait for certainty. They wait for someone else to confirm what they already feel in their soul. But elevation doesn't wait. It responds to courage. It responds to boldness. You don't need another sign. You are the sign. You don't need someone to give you permission. The call is already inside you. And once you say yes fully and without hesitation, everything begins to move. The energy shifts. The clarity increases. The resources appear. The alignment begins. Not because everything around you changes instantly, but because you changed. You decided to be available for growth, for purpose, for destiny. And that decision speaks louder than any words. It doesn't matter what your past looks like. It doesn't matter how long you've doubted yourself, delayed your dreams, or diminished your power. The moment you decide to say yes to who you really are, all of that begins to dissolve. The power was never outside of you. It was always in your willingness to choose yourself. And not just once, but daily, to wake up and choose faith over fear, to choose progress over perfection, to choose purpose over pressure. You don't rise by accident, you rise by choice. And the most powerful choice you can ever make is to no longer abandon your inner truth just to fit into a life that feels too small. There's a shift that happens when you finally say yes. Your posture changes. Your energy changes. Your language changes. You no longer speak from doubt, you speak from knowing. You no longer walk in hesitation, you walk in certainty. And that certainty doesn't come from having it all figured out. It comes from finally aligning with your soul. You decide that you're no longer going to keep negotiating your potential. You're no longer going to keep playing small, just to make others comfortable. You decide that it's time to rise, time to align, time to become. And from that moment on, every step you take is different. Even if you stumble, you're stumbling forward. Even when it's hard, you're still committed. Even when fear creeps in, your yes is louder. Your yes becomes your anchor. Your yes becomes your compass. Your yes becomes your declaration to the universe that you're serious, that you're available, that you're done entertaining anything that doesn't honor your divine calling. Your divine upgrade is not waiting on more time. It's waiting on more trust. It's waiting on your willingness to believe in the unseen, to step into the unknown, to act before the evidence shows up. That's what separates those who dream from those who manifest. The ones who say yes and move. The ones who act as if it's already done. The ones who show up before they feel ready. The ones who choose to embody the energy of their future right here, right now. No one else can make this decision for you. It's yours, it's sacred, and it's powerful beyond measure, because when you decide, you shift everything. You shift timelines, you shift energy, you shift outcomes. One bold yes to your calling becomes the doorway to the life you were always meant to live. Say yes, and don't look back.